Welcome to the Combo Cabal. I am your host, Bryant Cook, and when this video goes live, it will be my birthday, so that's kind of exciting. Happy birthday to my future self, and I'll be honest, I was going to record a modern video tonight because I didn't record one last week. That said, I am less confident in modern than I am Pauper, and if I'm going to record a video tonight, I would like to do a little bit of winning. So I've been working on this list over the weekend. I did play it in the Pauper challenge where I didn't do very well. There's a slight adjustment compared to that, but I'll go over that in a second. I've played it in a few leagues. I've gone 3-2-4-1-4-1, no 5-0s. But in the challenge, I ran 3 Barrenmoor, 2 Swamp. I had one situation where it was good, one situation where it was bad. So in the first situation, I was going to fizzle. I drew both swamps on my combo turn, and if I could go one card deeper, I would have found Reaping the Graves. I had a Tolarian Winds for 2. That was a Sulfur Vent and a Swamp, and off that, I hit Songs of the Damned to Reaping the Graves. Talk about a nuts draw, right? So I ended up winning that game, but if I had hit the Barrenmoor, it would have drawn the Reaping the Graves first, and I would have drawn into the Songs of the Damned immediately and won the game. So, or what I could have done is if I had Tolarian Winds, I could have drawn the Reaping the Graves, cast Tolarian Winds, Reaping the Graves, draw my deck, and then easily win, which was another option. So the reason why I'm short a land, if you've been watching these other videos, I've had 10 lands recently. Well, some of you in my YouTube comments aren't exactly the friendliest people, and you're fairly aggressive in your comments about me wanting to play Mystical Teachings. This video is for you. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not thrilled with Mystical Teachings. I've played it in a number of leagues so far. It is exactly fine. Is it better than land number 10? I'm not sure. But this is for all of you that like to say mean things in my comments. So I'm recording this on my birthday for you to show my appreciation for you at least watching. I guess tomorrow's my birthday, but at least watching these videos. So hopefully you'll enjoy it and say nicer things. So other slots, because I did deliberate over what this Mystical Teaching slot could be, I am not going down on Tolarian Winds. If you've watched any of these videos, you often see how good Tolarian Winds is. I am not cutting a Tolarians for a Mystical Teachings. It doesn't actually fix the threat density problem that the deck has. So when I'm fizzling, it's not because I drew Tolarian Winds and I needed it to be Mystical Teachings. Like, that's not what happens. It's that we end up drawing too many lands or too many rituals or too many Lotus Petals, that sort of thing. So I tried Chromatic Star. That card is awful. Simply awful. Please do not play it. It is bad. Not a fan of that card whatsoever. I did consider 3 Dark Ritual, and I think that's the second best option. Like, if you're dead set on playing Ted lands, I would play 3 copies of Dark Ritual. I think Dark Ritual is probably a little bit more vital for how the deck works, so I decided to play 9 lands. If you look at other lists on MTG Goldfish, you'll see the Unearthed lists all play 9 lands with no Lotus Petals. So we are up 4 initial mana sources. Granted, I don't really keep hands with Lotus Petal as the only mana source. But, you know, we're still plus mana sources. I think it's probably fine. I don't have strong opinions on it, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And then you'll notice that I swapped, I believe it's called Imposing Vantasaur. I could be wrong. It's the white dinosaur cycler for Lurching Rot Beast. That isn't because in my last video I said I like only having to click once. Laziness is not a reason to run a card. Sorry, it's just not. There's a reason why I'm running Lurching Rot Beast today, and that is Spinning Effing Darkness in the sideboard. What a sweet card. This is a card when I was a kid playing Magic in like 2002 that I played in like my mono black Nantuko Shade decks. Like, it is sweet. And it's a common, which I never forgot. So it's pretty good against burn, and it allows you to stay Grixis instead of having to splash for Weather the Storm. The idea isn't to remove cyclers. It can in a pinch, but ideally you would be removing rituals from the game. Just throwing that out there. I think Spinning Darkness is pretty sweet. And then we're also running Normal Darkness still. Had to shave a copy to make room for this. But it's been good so far. And one thought that I had while playing the challenge is I got paired against Tron twice. Against Tron, they have Weather the Storm on top of Crop Rotation for Bojuka Bog. I really liked having Duress in that matchup, to the point where I've considered going down to a 3-3 split once again. And I believe in my first Pauper video I recorded a 3-3 split. I really like duress in those slots. It's weird because I've yet to face Tron in a league. Maybe it'll be this league, but I never face it in leagues. But in challenges, I face it quite a bit more often. Where in leagues, I face almost exclusively these mono blue Delver Fairy stacks, where Pyroblast is better. So I did consider adding in a third duress, but then not siding it in against the Fairies decks, and instead just running 1 Shredded Sails or 2 copies of Darkness. I don't have strong opinions on it, but I do like the idea of 3 duress against Tron. I'm open to your suggestions. Let me know what you think. I am always looking to improve as a deck builder, as a content creator, and as a person, so I am open to constructive feedback. Yeah. And if for some reason you haven't subscribed already, give me a birthday present. Please do that. I would greatly appreciate you subscribing to this channel. As always, I'm going to start round 1 in just a second, but if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. And if you're not already, open up the description below and join all of our social channels. We have tons of great Storm communities. Be a part of it. Yeah, that's what I have to say. So round 1 will be coming up in just a second. I hope all you haters enjoy your mystical teachings. Welcome to round number 1. We are on the draw and likely facing mono white heroic. We've opened up a hand with no land, so unfortunately we're going to mulligan this. And one thing I like to keep track of so far is I have yet to have a mulligan because I have mystical teachings that isn't a swamp. So that's just one thing I like to keep an eye on. This seems fine to me. I think I'm actually going to bottom a cycler here. Okay, it is not mono white heroic. It looks like it is Walls combo? No, it's Elves. I was looking at an Elves list from yesterday that actually had 3 copies of Dispel on the sideboard, which is kind of scary. Sorry, I'm like trying to bring it back up so I can have like actual educated things to say, because it won the challenge this weekend, which is kind of cool. But this is a little bit of a slow start out of Elves. Yeah, the list that won had 3 copies of Dispel on the board. And then there's another list that was in 6th place that had just 2 copies of Blue Elemental Blast, and then Prohibit. So I guess post-board you do need to worry about blue cards out of your elf opponents. Cycle this Dranith Healer. Another Barrenmoor, a little bit flooded. So this would be a swamp. Probably a little bit better here. Play out the Barrenmoor. Now we're going to pass. We still only have 3 cyclers. We'd like to have a few more before we start to combo off. Looks like they're about to cast Distant Melody, I believe it's called. Correct. So they're going to draw 5. They're pretty unlikely to kill us next turn for what it's worth, so I do think we're going to have another turn for setup, which is kind of nice. Sulfur Vent. Alright, come on, deck. Let's see a few more cyclers. Nope. I'm going to hold. No reason to try to force a win right now. And you're thinking, like, I could unstep Dark Ritual Teachings. There's no need to do that. Like, you don't really benefit from doing so. And you lose Storm Count on your turn. In case I draw a cycler, I'd rather save this Dark Ritual. It'd be interesting to see how much power our opponent can put on the board. So we do next turn have to worry about Ivy Lane Denizen, because that can make some of their creatures larger out of nowhere. At what would appear to be instant speed, because something like Timberwatch Elf requires haste, and I don't believe these decks play anything to give haste. Oh, they have Harsh Nuisance, so that's a card that could kill us at instant speed. Assuming that they're playing it, or a Veilcut Invoker. So I guess we're like, they can win without just attacking. Alright, so let's cycle this Lurching Rat Beast, and I only have to click once, which is beautiful. Okay, so I have Storm of 5. I believe we only have 5 cyclers in there anyway. We have 6. The question is, do I really want to burn the Songs of the Damned for 6? I think the answer is actually yes. Because otherwise, if I cast Reaping the Graves and then I cycle a bunch, I'm going to end up having to sack Petal to cycle all of these, and that's not worth it to me. Alright, and now we'll cycle. They're at 25. I don't like casting Stinger here. I'd rather keep my mana and options open. Like, I don't know if we're going to win if we cast that, so why bother? When, like, I'll definitely be able to win later on at some point. If I just, like, keep my mana and options open. Don't need to cycle that yet. Tolarian Winds. That could be good if we had another Reaping the Graves. So we have 6 mana floating. Teachings for Reaping the Graves is 7 mana. And we have 6 floating. So 8 mana. We're 1 mana short of casting all of them. But like, I also don't know if I'd want to. So instead, I'm just going to cycle. Alright, so we're actually getting kind of low on mana here. So I'm going to go get a Songs. We still have 2 Lotus Petals in the deck. I'm going to cycle one more time. Okay, now I'm going to go get Songs. Alright, so I could just flashback immediately and then go get a Reaping the Graves. I'm going to cycle these as much as I can first to keep our options open. And I think that's just like one of the things you need to do when you're playing this deck. Is don't pigeonhole yourself into spending mana when you don't need to. That was good. So now we go get Reaping the Graves, and it's going to be easy. Alright, let's sack this. Sorry, I feel like I definitely misclicked at the start of this, and that happens every once in a while. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out, because I should have 16 cards in hand if I did it correctly. Alright, I did it correctly. Just didn't feel like it. We have our swamp. Alright, so I have 7 cards left, and one of them's a Lotus Petal. Give me my Lotus Petal. This deck's like kind of wild to play sometimes. The fact that like you often win with like no cards in deck. There it is. Start at the top this time. I definitely like clicked over a few right there, but it's not going to matter. I feel like a lot of the time people do this hoping that I'll time out. I've yet to time out playing this deck, so good luck. Or they think that I'm going to deck. I had one person be flabbergasted that I won with no cards in deck because they thought for sure that I was going to deck myself. And they just kept on typing in chat, LOL, LOL, GG's, LOL. All right. So Mystical Teachings was useful in this game. It was not worse than a basic swamp. And I've never really been against Mystical Teachings. I just don't know if it's necessary. And maybe it's better than the swamp. Maybe it's better than land 10, and that's fine. Like, I'm not opposed to running a Mystical Teachings. I just think that some of the people in the YouTube comments telling me that it's worse than Tolarian Winds very aggressively aren't correct. Like, Tolarian Winds is just a very strong magic card, and we saw it in this game. Like, there is a middle ground, I believe. And, like, that middle ground could be Swamp, or it could be Dark Ritual 4, or even Lotus Petal number 4, but I think you most likely want these. Like, if you're going to run 3 blue cards and then require Lotus Petal to cast your Stingers, you probably want all 4 copies of those. Alright, so do we... Maybe this is another reason that I should be boarding, or that I should be playing 3 Duress. Is like, if they're going to have Dispel and stuff like that, maybe I want them... Because like this can also hit Lead the Stampede or Distant Melody or something like that. So maybe I should be running a 3-3 split with Pyroblast. Question is like, do I even board them in, or do I just try to win through something like Dispel? Well, this does seem like a matchup where Darkness is probably fine. Because it's literally just 1 black Time Walk, assuming it doesn't get dispelled. Do something like this. I think I want to keep the threat density up. You know, the point of this video is to record with teachings. Like, normally, if I was doing this just to play to win, I'd board out the teachings and keep an extra cycler. But for the sake of this video, I'll probably keep the teachings in. Let's try this. Good hand, I think. Another cycler is good. Ooh, Relic. That was not in the list from yesterday. In neither top 8 list, actually. That's going to be very difficult to beat. Another reason to run Dress as well. I mean, Dress wouldn't have been fast enough here, but... I think I'll take it. You could also win by just like playing a couple stingers and then cycling the old-fashioned way. Blocks. Trying to think of how I'd board for the next game, assuming that I don't win this one. Opponent has not been eating my petals with the Relic, which I think is a mistake. Ooh, that was really good for them. Really would have liked another land at some point. I don't think I'm very likely to win this, but I don't think it hurts to keep playing. We're definitely in trouble. Next turn we are dead to Timberwatch Elf. I guess I could Darkness to try to buy time. Once again, they did not eat a petal there. Now we cast Darkness. But taking this line also lets us know if they have Dispel, which is part of the reason that you want to sit here and just, you know, take your lumps. Technically, we could try to win. Looks like they weren't biting on songs. Yeah, I think this is pretty unlikely. Their life total is just way too high, and this Reaping the Graves isn't going to be good enough. Alright, let's just go to the next game. We would have needed them to bite on songs for the Relic in order to try to win that. But it was pretty unlikely even if they did. Alright, so don't really want to board in Shredded Sails, but I feel like I have to after that. Let's try this. In theory, you could always run something like a Braid over Shredded Sails. That said, a Braid doesn't cycle, which is kind of a big issue, to be completely honest. You really need this deck for your cards to be fluid. Like I was saying in the first game, where you really want to be agile and keep your options open. A Braid doesn't do that. You can't cycle it, which is just a big issue. I do think Shredded Sails is mostly the same a lot of the time. Obviously, you can't kill a creature here. That said, I don't know how often you're sacrificing a Lotus Petal or a Sulfur Vent to kill a creature. I mean, this is a very good hand. It doesn't beat Relic, but not many of our draws do. Okay. See if I get the second land here. Nope. So after this league, I'm probably going to test 3 Duress and 4 Pyro. No need to cycle main phase. Like, if they draw a Relic, we don't want to get punished. Cycle the healer. Barrenmore. I think this might be our spot. They don't have any blue mana available, no Relic. Let's time... I'm not speaking English right now, but it's time to party. Let's try to get a win. Oh, I sacked for the wrong color, apparently. Black. So this is one of those spots where Lurching Rot Beast not being Vantasaur is actually a little bit worse, because I'd like to cycle with one of the blue or red. One, two, three, four, five. You want to target Street Wraith first, after the initial. So somebody in the YouTube comments said that you do that so you can cycle this for free in case you draw songs. You can still songs for 5. And now you just let the rest of these resolve, I think. Not great so far. We could really use some mana. Cycle this using the red. We might have fizzled. Yeah, it's looking like we did. Unfortunate. Kind of a bummer. If we draw songs in the next like turn or so, there's still a chance. Because we have plenty of cyclers, we just need mana. There's also a situation where if we had a Tolarian Winds, I wouldn't have had to spend our remaining 7 mana cycling. Like, Tolarian Winds just allows you to immediately exchange Reaping the Graves cards for actual card advantage, which is just really nice. We're falling to 9 here. They have 6 on board, so there's a chance we're dead next turn. It's interesting. They left this untapped, too, which is a signal that they have a counter spell, I think. Although they could just untap with Quarian Ranger. Alright, we have to pass. I'll be honest, the Well-Wisher doesn't matter to me. Like, our opponent can be at 70, because by the time we win, we can deal 70. It's just that I didn't hit the resources when we needed them early. Opponent's 1 damage short at the moment. It's 5. Oh, my bad. The Llanowar doesn't attack, so they were actually 2 damage short. Instead of keeping that up. But I'm just dead to whatever Dispel they're holding. Yeah, we just, like... This is the problem with too many cyclers, right? Technically it's life, but it's just going to get countered here, I think. No? Letting us go. Does this get a counterspell? Interesting. So that was allowed to resolve. What could they have? Blue Elemental Blast, maybe? One Lotus Petal down, 2 petals down. I'm going to go to 2, I think. I don't think there's any way for them to deal me instant speed 2 damage. We're down to our final cycle, and it's the Shredded Sails. A Lotus Petal would be amazing. Reaping the Graves would obviously be good. So we have 3 Reaping the Graves, I believe. Three Reaping the Graves in our deck, 2 Lotus Petals. So that's 5 out of 19. We're over 25% to hit. And then obviously we have more cyclers. We fizzled. Maybe the real solution is to run 0 swamps. It's not. Does mean we're dead, though. Let's see if they're going to counter this. I'm just curious if they're actually sitting on a Dispel. Nope. Alright, so they got us. We have no way of discarding this Mystical Teachings to cast for the flashback. But yeah. Technically, this could have been... I guess that would have been a swamp, so that didn't matter. Looks like we were going to fizzle because there was 3 dead draws in a row. So we're going to start this league off 0-1, but that was an interesting match for sure. Round number 2, we are on the play. Let's do it. Good hand. I think I'm just going to cycle 1 creature to start off. And then the Street Wraith. I was thinking about burning a Ritual there. And we hit the land anyway, so I'm glad I didn't. Ooh, we're facing land destruction. It's kind of scary. Let's see if we can find more lands. Nope. Taps for 4 now. A, not land destruction. I realize that I'm burning rituals which are used for Storm Count for Reaping the Graves. That said, I just really don't want to get stuck on 0 land, so that's why I was a little bit aggressive with casting those to cycle. Another Utopia Sprawl. They're crashing it for 9 here, so it looks like this is our go turn. Self-prevent, you're late. We're down to just this 1 cycler. Technically, I guess we have a Tolarian Winds for 1. Here's a spot where I guess it would technically be better as Mystical Teachings. Woo! Always had it, clearly. A little lucky there. Alright, I'm going to cast the Stinger. I don't think we're fizzling from here. It could happen. I don't think we are. Alright, let's cast another Stinger. Stinga. And let's just get this over. They're almost dead. Sweet. I haven't been boarding against these decks. You can, I suppose, like you could preemptively bring in like Shredded Sails or something. I just don't think you need to. I'm just going to hit submit again. And as always, if you want to support this content, you can do so by going to theepicstorm.com/shop and getting yourself a mini token pack. Do it. You get 54 amazing miniature tokens. It's well worth the cost. $12. Highly recommend it. You can, once again, theepicstorm.com/shop. All right, so we've opened up an interesting hand here. No cyclers, but you do have double Songs of the Damned Reaping the Graves. I think I'm going to take the chance here. This might be a mulligan, but like my gut says to keep it. Like you have your best cards in, or my bad, triple Songs of the Damned. I thought it was double Dark Ritual. You have triple Songs of the Damned. So like as long as you find a cycler or two, you can really like, you know, get going by casting Ritual, cycling for a number, and then just like Reaping the Graves. I think I like this. I've also been wondering about Darkness a little bit, like if I really want to be playing it, because like that could be Spinning Darkness number 4, and then like Duress number 3, and then you'd have like one flex spot, which could be a Darkness or like a Nile Spellbomb. Because right now against Burn, you're taking out 4 Street Wraith and bringing in 3 Spinning Darkness and like maybe a Duress. Alright, no land destruction spell. I like that. I'd like to see a cycler here. I think I'm just going to cycle the 1. Alright. So, we're a little bit stuck right now. We do want to hit like a chain of cyclers, but there's not much we can do about it. Most of our deck are cycling creatures, so law of averages, just sit here and wait. But they have a ton of mana now. Turn 3 boarding party? Annoyed, whatever it's called. Fissure, wow. That's an old one. I think I'm just going to pass, hang on to this Carabid. Okay. I could read the Monarch part. I was wondering what the rest of it said. They're down to 1 card, so this is 4 mana, so they have 5 mana right now. I think it's go time. The 4th Songs of the Damned. Oh, geez. Spirit Wraith was a good draw there. Teachings. This is an interesting spot. Because we're pretty much just using Songs of the Damned as a glorified Dark Ritual at the moment, and these two need to win the game. This actually might be kind of a tough victory, because we have to use the songs early, which is an issue. I'd love to hit just a chain of Street Wraiths right here. Cabal Ritual is welcome. Gives us some extra fuel to cycle, which is the big thing about it. Try to hold off on these songs as long as possible. Two Lotus Petal left in the deck. Alright, so this next songs really needs to make a lot of mana for us to win this. Okay, doing okay so far. Go to 7. We also don't have another Reaping the Graves right now, which is kind of an issue. So one of the best ways of winning this would be to have double Stinger, because that requires less mana to win. That said, we're stuck in a tough spot right here because we don't have a lot of mana. Like, we just can't make a lot of mana. So you either play one Stinger and then need to generate 20 mana post Stinger in order to win. We should count how many Dark Rituals and Cabal Rituals are left. One Dark Ritual, 2 Dark Rituals. So we have 2 Dark Rituals left in the deck and 1 Cabal Rit, 2 Cabal Rituals. So hypothetically, let's say we just cast Stinger. And then cycle a bunch. So with 13, I guess it's theoretically possible. We'd have to hit our rituals in order to win. Okay. We're going to go for it. So the question is whether or not I cycle, or if I cast the other Stinger. Because that reduces the amount of mana we need by quite a bit, like I said. But it shuts off this Teachings. This Teachings could get Reaping the Graves. I think I'm going to keep Reaping the Graves, or the Teachings open for now. Maybe that's a mistake. Yeah, who am I kidding? I should just cast the Stinger. Like, we don't have enough mana to cast Teachings into Reaping the Graves. So, like, that was a mistake, because I just lost out on 2 points of damage. Well, that was good. That probably just won. Because I can get back to street rates. No, because I can't. I guess it doesn't matter if I cycle this first or after, because you don't have any songs left in the deck. I think that's deterministic, because as long as I can get back 2 straight rates with Reaping the Graves, I win. And there's no point of risking losing to this, so I'm going to cast this and just get back 2 straight wraith. So me being a chicken did not cost us for not cycling. And our opponent's going to concede. And we won match number 2. We are now 1-1. I didn't play that perfectly. It is what it is. It was a tough call, and I realized like we're immediately after why it was flawed. I just didn't see it up front initially, but ended up not biting us in the butt. Let's finish strong. 3 matches left to go. All right, and we're back. No lands, no keep. Ship it. Seems fine. Get rid of a stinger. I like the bottom stingers a lot of the time just because I know that I'll have a win condition in the bottom of my deck. Where if, like, for some reason our opponent has a main deck Bazooka Bog, I'm not just losing the game. What are they on? Burn usually plays a spell by now. Alright, so they are burned. We're going to get to see the Spinning Darkness in action. Alright, we're passing. In theory, we could try to go off next turn if we needed to. But it looks like we might need to based on what our opponent has here. But we need more mana. Now we go to 9. What do you have left? 2 cards in hand. Wow, if their last card's Fire Blast, we're dead. No, my bad. We go to 1. No, Fire Blast untap kills us. Wow, from 18 damage, we're dead. Wow, from 18 life. That's nuts. Wow. I mean, I still think it's right to cycle the Street Wraith there, but holy crap. Not a whole lot I can do about that. Let's try this out. Yeah, we're going to keep this. I'm in shock that we died from 18. I'm just going to cycle main phase. I'm lazy. The one of Duress. Is that better than a Street Wraith here? Who knows? Suspended Rift Bolt. I think I'm just going to cycle. Try to get ahead with our game plan. Maybe I should have left in the 4th Wraith. No Alchemist is a good sign. Alright, so we're going to 10. I guess we're dead if their next turn is like Bolt, Fire Blast. Dress was obviously nice there for the information. I'm going to cast the Rat. Want to get ahead a little bit if I can. I think I'm going to cycle the Barrymore instead of playing it. Alright. Next turn looks like it's our go. We have 4 creatures in the graveyard right now, which isn't that many. They have 3 in hand. We know 2 of them. We might be able to just pass. Discard this Mystical Teachings too. Yeah, I think that's the play. So I'll be honest. This game, I think a Swamp might have been better than Mystical Teachings, but we'll find out. I wonder if we're having a really bad snowstorm right now and it's really windy. I'm like sort of wondering if my mic is picking it up. So Spinning Darkness right now would remove a Horror of the Broken Lands. I don't want to do that quite yet. Alright, so we have how many creatures? 6? Because right now this Reaping the Graves is only returning 4. Alright, so this looks like a good spot for Spinning Darkness. Because it's going to increase storm count for Reaping the Graves. Question is, do I fire off the songs right now or not? Because we'd have 5 mana floating. I think we fire off 1. Keep 1 back. The Spinning Darkness right there as a free storm for Reaping was kind of cool. Could just cast double horror. Searing Blaze doesn't kill it. We're at 15. The thing is, like, we have mystical teachings in the graveyard, so how likely are we to fizzle? I don't think super likely. I'm just gonna try to win. Yeah. Definitely the right choice. Alright, that's the last Songs of the Damned. I'm gonna hold that Spinning Darkness. Cycle, cycle, cycle. In a pinch, you can use Spinning Darkness to exile creatures. I just try not to. Like, it might seem weird to some of you watching that, like, I'm doing it all on the combo turn where I don't really need to gain the life. Maybe that's like a reason why you could leave in Street Wraith is for Spinning Darkness, because you are gaining life, so you're not risking dying to like a Fire Blast on your combo turn. And now I can cycle the rest of my deck, or I can cast 4 Horror of the Broken Lands. Okay, they've decided to concede. On the draw, would I rather have a Street Wraith or Spinning Darkness or Duress? I think I like the Duress. I do feel like Mystical Teachings might be a little bit slow here, but that could just be wrong. I did like Spinning Earth, or Spinning Darkness, I mean. This hand's bad. Yeah. Much better. I think here we bottom a Cabal Rat. So this is the sort of hand where you just want a few turns. Like, hopefully our opponent doesn't open up with another aggressive draw like they did game 1. Rift Bolt. No land? Nice. Hypothetically, we could hardcast Horror of the Broken Lands next turn. It does die to Fire Blast and it'd be sort of an all-in play. Going to 12. I think I'm going to pass. We could, in theory, die here. I hope that's not the case, but... So we're going to fall to 8. If they were to go, like, land, bolt... No, they're mana short if they do land, bolt, fire blast. Alright, now we cycle... We actually want more cyclers here. The darkness. Don't really want to remove these, so I think we're supposed to try to win here. I feel so bad though. Like, Reaping the Graves only being 3 is not ideal. I think what I'm going to do is not sacrifice my lands. So that way if I fizzle, I'm still set up to, you know, be okay. Just trying to think about what the best way, if I'm trying to win this turn or not. Because Spinning Darkness is going to remove 3 for this Cabal Ret, so I won't hit threshold. Sorry, this is just a tough call. I know that I'm taking a little bit long. Alright. Sorry. I guess another thing I could do would be to kill one of the lava runners and then play horror. Oh, sorry, this is just wild. So I have 7, 8, 9. I'm 1 mana short from casting 2. So if I had sacked this, I could play 2 4/4s. Am I really supposed to try to win off just like 3 cyclers here? I think I'm just going to cast Horror and pass. Buy some time, maybe. What could they possibly have here? Like, why would you swing in? Land bolt? No? So they can swing land bolt bolt fire blast? But like I'm dead to land bolt bolt fire blast even without the attacker. So I can cycle 2, hit them for 8. I didn't say him, M. I don't know my opponent's gender. And I think I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna cycle here. Just buying time. Or at least I'm attempting to. Would love another Spinning Darkness. Dress is good. Oh, so I'm very dead if our opponent draws the land. Cool. To the point where Spinning Darkness does not save me. No block. I guess if we hit Reaping the Graves here, we could theoretically try to win. I'd have to hit Running Cyclers off this Baron more. Alright, so they're going to go to 8. Hopefully they don't draw land. Suspend Riftbolt. So now we know their draw step. We're dead on their next turn. We have to try to win. No longer the case. And we drew a removal spell for this Gitu Lava Runner. We're still dead to a land draw. Are they going to go 9 turns without drawing a land? We actually only needed one cycler there, and that was lethal. It's not too often I'll complain about drawing a Songs of the Damned. Alright, opponent. They're probably due for a land draw. It's turn 9. Like, they kept a 1-lander and haven't drawn a land for 8 turns, so the top, 17 cards of their deck weren't a land. Like, we're probably dead here. They're pausing, so maybe not. The suspense. Are you just slow rolling me, opponent? Come on. Ah, they drew a Chain Lightning. Well, yes, I would like to copy it. Thank you. All right, we're 2-1. On the play for the 4th match. Let's do it. Sure. Both Teachings and Tolarian wins in the opening hand. How awkward. But might be fine, especially if our opponent's on a slower deck. And they mulliganed. Feel free to let me know what you thought of Spinning Darkness in that match against Burn. Did not hit the land there. 2 Dark Rituals is okay. It's not bad. Would have preferred a land drop. Tron. Yikes. I was just saying how I never get paired against it in leagues. Songs of the Damned. I want to see if I can dig a little bit. And if we get really lucky, we might be able to win, but I doubt it. We draw a Teachings here. Not a Teachings, Reaving the Graves. Or honestly, a Lotus Petal, because then I could go get Reaping the Graves. Other wins was not desirable. We're doing it. So we're down 2 copies of Songs, which is kind of an issue, but they don't have crop rotation mana up. Which is the reason I'm being a little bit aggressive with trying to win here. Alright, so in theory we could flashback teachings and go get songs, which would actually lose us mana. So I'm just gonna cycle the last Street Wraith. Cabal Ritual or something. There we go. That's a start. That keeps us going. Alright, that was really good. We're going to need the last two Songs of the Damned to make quite a bit of mana. Or one of Swamp. Always wait till the last second to use these songs, in my opinion. Alright, so now it's making 20 mana. Wow. That was really good. So now we're going to return this. We're at 6 life. We have all 4 Street Wraiths in the graveyard, so we don't want to return 2 of them. Now we need to hit a Lotus Petal. Still have a number of Lotus Petals in there. Cycle, cycle, cycle. Petal number 1. I'm going to sit on that songs for a little bit. I think we still have one Reaping the Graves left in the deck too. The other petal. I think we have one left, but I could be wrong. I'm not going to bother counting right now. I want to keep the third Stinger if I can. 9 cards left in deck. 5 mana floating. Six cards left in deck. Just try not to deck myself too, because I'll have to turn off the auto yields at some point. Unless we can just kill them. And they'll be dead before I deck. Woo, woo. Turn 3. Eat that crop rotation. Alright, so I definitely want Duress here. Let's bring up a recent Tron list. So they usually have 2 crop rotation and a main deck Bajuka Bog. I faced a list the other day that was a little more white-based that had Prismatic Strands. I feel like that's like not very popular. They do have Weather the Storm, which can be a pain. It depends on how they play it and how you can sequence, because you can beat Weather depending on how you play. 3 Hydroblast in this list. So this list actually doesn't have that many Pyroblast targets. I actually faced Casa in the challenge yesterday. They had a negate. So they actually... I boarded in Pyroblast against them because of game 2 I saw Counterspell and negate in their hand. And it always counters Ghostly Flicker too. So the question is, like, what do you want to board out? Because if you end up boarding that much, you end up boarding out, like, right now I would just do 2 Architect and I would keep the 4 Ritual. But if you board them Pyroblast, you could board out 2 more. You're down to 24 creatures at that point against the deck trying to Bazooka Bug you. I think I'm just going to submit this. Nope. Yup. It's weird. Part of me thinks I'm, like, supposed to bottom one of the Duresses, which feels wrong. And it's, like, really unfortunate that I'm put in a spot where I have to bottom a Duress. It's just, like, if we're playing the game where we're all in on the discard plan, I don't think we're ever going to win. Like, that could be wrong. Like, especially after I show you that I draw a Cabal Ritual, it looks wrong. But, like, let's imagine that we, like, get stuck with only Songs of the Damned as our rituals. Like, that's going to look really bad, right? And they have Bog in hand. So that means that, like, Ghostly Flickers can bounce it mid-combo. Chose not to play a Tron land there. I could have cycled that. I chose not to. I also thought about sacking the Sulfur Vent to play Stinger. I don't know if that was right or wrong. I guess I don't even need to do that. Let's see how far we can get with Stinger beats. Opponent has assembled the Tron. I have not seen this version before. That's wild. It's pretty cool. So we're obviously in trouble here. Pulse and Marasa. Yep. So how we win this game is by drawing multiple cyclers. Okay, so that's step 1. And I'm going to pass and just take 13. And then end step we'll cycle Rot Beast and then hopefully hit another cycler, untap, and try to win. I've never seen a Tron list like this before, but, like, this is really sweet. These large cascade creatures. This is interesting. All Alright, no blocks. And then it's us trying to win the game. On this lurching rot beast. Come on, lurch. Why not Cyclone Step? Because I can. It's looking pretty good so far. So I can cycle this, which will put 6 cards in the graveyard. We sack Lotus Petal. That would be card number 7, or I could just draw Dark Ritual. So we only have a few cards in the graveyard anyway. I don't need to burn this Songs of the Damned yet. I don't know if I'm supposed to cast that Stinger. So I would go down to 4 mana. I can cycle Songs for 5, Reaping the Graves. It's like pretty close. I think I'm going to try it. If I fail, I fail. Okay, that's probably going to do it. Woot woot. Not your standard Tron list, but I mean, it's a win against Tron. Like, I don't think Tron would be a difficult deck if they didn't have crop rotation for Bojuka Bog. Like, I think that the deck would actually be pretty easy if that interaction didn't exist. Not that it should be banned or anything. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say I think it's the only thing that makes this matchup tricky. And look at that. We're 3-1. Let's get this last match. The last match. Let's get it. We're on the play. No lands. I think the card we bottom here is probably Cabalrit. Long-term planning, we're going to go for that larger play in the long run, and that's Cabal Ritual. Fairies, I would have preferred a nice easy match for the last one. Couldn't just give that to me, come on. No land. Dark Ritual was a card when we were debating our mulligan that I thought about keeping for that very reason if I got stuck on one land. And they're not playing snow stuff, for what it's worth. Another Cabal or Dark Rit was a good draw. We do need another land or initial mana source, though. Opponent tanking here. Do 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 do. And they aggressively played Spellstutter Sprite to start a clock, giving us a window here. Wow. I think I'm going to try to take it. There's the land I wanted last turn. I think we're going for it here. I mean, they give us a window. We have to try to take it. Another Songs of the Damned would be nice before Reaping the Graves. Or any mana. We're actually getting kind of low. So right now I have a choice. I can Reaping the Graves, get back a couple Street Wraith, and Cabal Ritual would keep us going, or I can try to cycle to hit Songs, and if we hit Songs, there's a very strong chance we win. Or I could like mini Reaping right now. We have one Songs. We know that there's a Dark Rit on the bottom of the deck. We still have 3 Cabal Rits in the deck too. I'm going to go for the bigger play and cycle the Stingers rather than try to win off 2 Street Wraith draws. Come on, deck. Give me a Songs. Nope. Bummer. I like, in theory, we could have waited there, but our opponent gave us a window where we didn't have to worry about counter spells or anything else. And them flashing in Spellstutter Sprite was a sign of strength. Like, that they were going to win if they got to untap. And it looks like they're mono blue, by the way. Too late. Probably just going to get counterspelled. Why are you thinking about this? Just counter it. If it, for some reason, in some magical world it resolves, I'm casting Mystical Teachings. Yep. Alright, so I like boarding in the anti-blue package. Take out Dark Ret. I do think that Teachings is just too clunky. Like, you're expected to resolve a 4-mana spell versus the blue deck. I just don't think you can afford to keep that in, personally. And it's not a slight against the card. I just don't think we can really realistically keep it. Another thing is we could board out Tolarian Winds. It is a little bit lower to the ground, which I like. And as you saw, like, if we could have afforded to cast Tolarian Winds into Reaping the Graves, we probably would have won that game. But we never found a Winds. I think I'm going to try this. Yeah, let's do it. Solid hand. I don't know if my mic is picking up this wind, but it's pretty crazy here right now. Definitely have a really good draw against the blue deck this game. If my list had it, I'd have to imagine that, what is it called? The creature that I didn't like, the 2/3 that whenever you cycle it, it gets larger, that those would actually be pretty good against the mono blue version of these decks. That said, the mono blue ones aren't very popular compared to blue X. Why can't I think of what it's called? Grizzly Survivor. There we go. I was looking for a another land there, but dug pretty deep. And they're really aggressive with their spell stutter sprites. These are definitely matchups where I think Pyroblast is better than Duress, by the way. But with our current hand, I'd rather have double Pyroblast. I mean double Duress, I'm sorry, because we only have one red. But it's obviously situation based. See if this resolves or if they try to counter it. Cycle. The land we wanted last turn. Interesting. They do not want to fight. Part of me is thinking that I should just cast double horror right here. Like, I don't know how they ever beat Horror of the Broken Lands. I think I'm not going to cycle. Okay, and our opponent just concedes. I'm not allowed to think. Yeah, and Blue Elemental Blast is another reason. Like, I think I'm selling myself on this 3 Duress, 3 Pyroblast split due to Tron. And I guess it's, like, better against Elves, too. Maybe we just don't need Darkness in the deck. Like, that might just be the real thing, is, like, maybe we don't need Darkness. Or another thing I could do is just run 4 and 4 and then split my disruption up based on matchup, which is another option. I was thinking about maybe boarding out Tolarian Winds for 2 more cyclers, and they're just like going all in on Reaping the Graves. But when we're taking out mana and Dark Ritual, I feel like you need them. Another good hand. Delver. Not happy about that. And it flips. Oh. Taking 4 here, going to 13. This is going to be a tough game for us to win, I think. Really? I mean, we're not ready to go off, but like this could have been a window. We'd have to get very lucky to try to win this now, I think. No respect. They have 6 damage on board. Yeah, I just can't try to win right here, unfortunately. So we're going to have to untap and try to win through a bunch of counter spells. Oh. Going to 6th life. And our hand was good, too. Nothing to complain about. It's just our opponent's draw was really good. Need to find a Songs of the Damned. I guess it's free to start on Cycling Street Wraith. Come on, give me a Songs. Didn't find a single ritual. Our third into our deck, too. It's just too late. Dispel, Blue Elemental Blast, Force Spike. Any of them will do. And we are Force Spiked out of this match. Nothing we could do about that. We just didn't find anything. So we finished 3-2. Not the end of the world. I want to see what our next few draws would have been. So these two would have cycled into these two. But then Reaping the Graves would have found Street Wreath into Songs. Would have been close. So ultimately a 3-2. I'll open the one chest. Why not? Maybe this is worth something. I don't know. But I think I'd like to see one Duress in the deck and -1 Pyroblast. I don't know if we even need Darkness. If I'm being completely honest, like, it's been fine. But, like, Elves is a matchup where I originally wanted it for. They have Invoker now. They can also have Dispel, which is a new innovation, which counters Darkness. But also, like, we need to worry about Dispel, where we could just board in Duress against them. Duress is also pretty good for beating Relics. Because usually people hold them. I don't know. So, like, that could open up some sideboard slots. Like, spinning Darkness, and now you have 2 open board slots. It could be 2 Darkness. It could be 2 Spellbomb. If you have any other ideas, by the way, I'm willing to listen. Grizzly Survivor would have been good there, but, like, that card's been pretty bad. It's supposed to be fine against Tron, though. If Tron's supposed to be, like, one of the better decks. But, like, they have Moment's Peace and a bunch of other stuff. I'm just not a big fan of the Grizzly Survivor, personally. I also think it's better in the Unearth list, not because you can unearth it, but because they play 5 basic swamps, which means that you can Dark Ritual Grizzly Survivor on turn 1 a lot more often. Where I do not play 5 basic swamps. I play the Sulfur Vents, so that way we can support Tolarian Winds and Teachings. Let me know what you thought about Teachings, by the way. Was it better than Swamp number 2? Is there a different slot that you think Teachings should have taken? Like, should it have been Tolarian Winds? Should it have been Dark Ritual number 4? Let me know. I'm interested in your thoughts. And, yeah. And if you enjoyed this video and for some reason you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Cool. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Hey, Brian Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.